It's Tuesday, December 28th, 2021. A lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Before we do, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification so that you are alerted when the newest video drops, and continue to share these videos, continue to wake people up. But without further ado, let's get right into what is happening. I want to start with this. Today, I drove by another Christmas tree lot, and I could not believe the amount of Christmas trees they were just piling up on trailers and probably just taking them to be disposed of. Really, really sad to see all of these beautiful trees that nobody bought, that just literally going to waste, being towed to a trash dump somewhere. And there's one after another these Christmas tree lots that just did not have very good sales this year, at least in my area out here. Also went to a Kohl's today, had to get some socks for the gym, and I was blown away. I could not believe the empty displays. The racks there were no racks. They were just missing. They had basically vacant areas of the store with nothing there, just blank. Vacant, no racks, no displays, no clothes. Shoe department literally had no shoes. They were just completely emptied of shoes, nothing there. So of course they're still floating out on these ships in Long Beach. And we all know that a lot of people, even though we're being told that spending this holiday season was at an all-time high, highest in 17 years, believe what you may, but if that's even partially true, you know it was because of credit cards. But I didn't see people spending. I didn't see the malls very busy. I know there was videos out there, people telling you that the malls were busy, the stores were busy. The ones I went to look like ghost towns. I just don't think people have the money. I think people are overextended on cards already, maxed out, and I think it was a miserable holiday season as far as retail sales. And when I walk into a Kohl's, which I haven't been into a Kohl's in probably 2 years, blown away at what's happening. There are no doubt still shortages occurring. And on the topic of shortages, this article today in The Hedge, China panic, stockpiles half of world's grain supply amid threats of collapse. No, I did not stutter. They are stockpiling, they have stockpiled half of the world's grain supply amid threats of collapse. And this probably is contributing to higher food prices for the world because China doesn't care. They just buy as much as they want. They don't care about you. They don't care about Europe. They don't care about anybody. They care about themselves. And I mean, look, I respect that. I give them credit. They look out for their own people. They look out for themselves. I get it. They started massively. I mean, they've been stockpiling for years, but they really started massively stockpiling about 2.5 years ago. And the question is, does China believe that we're on the verge of a major global crisis? What does China know that the average person does not know? Why is China stockpiling so much food? And again, I give China credit. They prepare. They're aware that something is coming. They're definitely aware of very uncertain times, and they're preparing, and they are preparing their people. Not only are they stockpiling food, ladies and gentlemen, you know this, they are stockpiling gold and other assets, but they love gold. And myself, I will be ordering more gold tomorrow. SD Bullion, I have a link down below. I don't care where you buy it from. I don't care if you buy it, you don't buy it. But I think it's a perfect time, a necessity at this point to be owning real assets like gold and silver. And again, if you need a reputable place, SD Bullion, link down below. I don't care if you buy it from SD Bullion. I don't care if you buy it from one of the other companies online. I don't care if you buy it from a pawn shop, a jewelry store, a coin shop. I do believe, and I don't give financial advice, I do believe you need to own some of this stuff right now. This is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing things we have never seen in our lifetime. We're seeing things the world has never seen in history. And I think it's very, very important to be prepared. Wealthy investors want to own a little less of the everything bubble in 2022. This on CNBC today. And again, what do they know that the average person does not know? Why are so many of these big investors getting out of the markets? How come so many CEOs are stepping down? And why are so many selling so much stock as of late? Another one on CNBC, more cryptocurrency regulation is likely. Here are 3 ways to prepare. Just a quick glance at this article. Number 1, it says, get organized. Investors must report their taxable transactions. It says, so start calculating your profits or losses. 2, start tracking. Use a reputable crypto and portfolio software tool which tracks transactions. I mean, I thought this was the whole reason to own crypto, so it couldn't be tracked, so you didn't have to pay taxes, but I guess I was wrong. Be aware of upcoming regulation. That's number 3. The infrastructure bill signed into law in November includes tax reporting provisions that apply to cryptos and NFTs. So they're going to be regulating this stuff, and maybe that's why as I make this video this evening, Bitcoin down $3,500, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, all of them down. And again, this is this crazy volatility that we continue to watch with these so-called safe haven assets. Look, me personally, I'm going to stick with gold, have some silver. I like gold the most. If you can't afford gold, make sure you have some silver and make sure it is physical. Unless you have money to gamble with, to buy mining stocks, stay away from them. You need to be stockpiling physical gold, physical silver. Do what China's doing. Do what the central banks are doing. 3 reasons why 2022 will be unforgettable. This was another article in the Hedge today. What does, and please comment down below, what does the economy look like right here in the U.S. in 2022? Love to know what you think that this economy is going to look like. Look, it looks like a patient on life support right now in 2021. What does this whole mess look like in 2022? For sure, GDP growth looks to be slow at best. Inflation will not subside. It's going to get worse. Potential for a total of 6 rate hikes to 2024. What are we looking at? 3 rate hikes in 2022, a couple more in 2023. Nobody knows. It's too far out, but we're going to see rate hikes in 2022. Also, remember, we have a grossly overvalued market, and the financial law of gravity threatens to bring it down. And how much could it go down? It could easily go down 40, 50, 60, 70%. And people can laugh at that, but when it happens, it's going to happen fast, ladies and gentlemen. People aren't going to be laughing. In fact, they're going to be crying, and some of them will probably be jumping out of buildings, unfortunately. Read history. People are going to lose everything. They've gotten so complacent. It's really, really a crazy time. You know, I have a friend who has some relatives, and they have a rental property. They have their own house. They have a rental property. They bought 2 more properties, and they spent a lot of money on these additional 2 properties to do VRBOs. And this is so similar to what we were seeing happening in 2005, 6, and 7. People borrowing money from their grandparents, their uncles, their aunts, their mom, their dad, anything, and they're juggling 2, 3, 4, 5 houses and flipping them. Now, people are flipping houses, but now the big thing is to buy these rental properties, these short-term rental properties. And what do? They pull equity out of their home to buy 2 more VRBOs, and they're looking at about $1.4 million in debt, about $1.4 million of debt. Now think about if things just get a little bit sideways, what's going to happen? Now the airlines are in massive trouble. Everybody's quitting the airline business. Everybody's not going to work. Flights canceled. People scared to travel because of this health crisis. It's a complete mess. So if you're buying these homes and you're going to do these VRBOs, what if people are too scared to get on planes? What if people are worried that they're not going to be able to get back because so many employees of these companies are quitting, and it's just a disaster to travel, and the fear and all that, the price to rent a car. A lot less people are going to be traveling if they continue to be scared of this crisis, prices of fuel, prices just to fly, what kind of effect does this have on resorts and vacation destinations and VRBOs? And I just think of my friends' relatives, $1.4 million in debt, reliant on people getting on a plane and flying to these areas to rent their home. It's just unbelievable what we are watching take place. The risk factor out there. There's so much complacency. People think that there can be no correction, let alone a collapse. I think you got to be out of your mind to buy a house right now. I think this is the biggest housing bubble we have seen in history. And these people who literally think that they're moguls now. So many of these people think that they're moguls, going in and buying multiple houses with very small incomes and taking on massive amounts of debt, pulling equity out of their home, using their home as an ATM to acquire more debt and take more risk and gamble more at the casino. It's really scary. And when you have a mortgage for 30 years, anything can happen from now to next week, to next month, to next year, let alone 5 years from now. You're still sitting on a massive amount of debt, taking big chances and hoping nothing goes wrong. Anyways, God bless them. I wish them the best of luck. But again, the risk factor out there, people ignoring the warning signs, ignoring the risk. Let's get back to what's going to happen in 2022. Gold, I think, is going to continue to go up slowly and steadily. But if this housing bubble bursts, if these markets burst, you're going to see gold go absolutely bananas. You're going to see gold go crazy if we begin to see a meltdown. It will accelerate like a rocket. I think oil easily could hit $100 in 2022. Small business and restaurants, I think, are going to continue to be decimated in the year 2022 with no help on the way. And I think that the consumer is going to be decimated and forced to be dependent on credit cards, on personal loans, on payday loans. I don't think at this point that I see any more stimulus checks coming. I think it's all going to be winding down, and people are going to, I hope they enjoyed the party over the last year with the stimmies and all the free money, because it's over. And 2022, I think, is going to be a year of reckoning. I want to just go through this article really, really quick from Politico. The Fed's doomsday prophet has a dire warning about where we're headed. And I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as I can. Just going to kind of paraphrase through it. I took some notes. Fantastic article. If you get a chance, pull up this Politico article. It's extremely long. I could probably spend an hour breaking it down, but just really quickly, Thomas Hoenig was president of the Federal Reserve Bank in Kansas City back in the 70s. He had a seat on the Fed's most powerful policy committee, where he lodged one of the longest running strings of no votes in the bank's history. We're now living in a world he warned about. The Fed is now in a vice. Inflation is rising faster than the Fed believed it would, with higher prices for gas, goods, and autos, all being fueled by the Fed's unprecedented money printing. The article goes on to say this. This comes years after the Fed steadily pumping up the price of assets like stocks and bonds. Hoenig says there is no painless solution. It's going to be difficult. The longer you wait, the more painful it will end up being. What kind of pain is Hoenig talking about? He says higher unemployment, social instability, and potentially years of economic illness. This is what all this money printing has produced. We are going to pay the consequence here, ladies and gentlemen. There is no going back. The damage has already been done. The ship has hit the iceberg, and now we're going to have to deal with the ramifications of what has taken place. The last time we saw runaway inflation was in the 1970s. Thomas Hoenig was given the miserable job of cleaning it up, and this is when Hoenig realized the institution he worked for, the Federal Reserve, wasn't just a bystander to this inflation. It helped to create it. Honig also realized another important thing. Easy money policies don't just drive up prices of consumer goods, drives up prices of stocks, bonds, and real estate. This created an asset bubble in the 1970s, and we're looking at another one today. Amazing how history repeats itself. The farmers back in the 1970s were encouraged to take on more cheap debt and buy more land. Cheap loans bought this overvalued land. Doesn't it sound familiar? Because now we have all this cheap money, the cheap loans buying up these overvalued homes, this massive bubble. The farmers got duped into buying up all this overvalued land because, oh, the money was cheap, but they were overpaying for the land. And at the end of the day, you are taking on debt, whether it's more expensive or it's cheaper, you're taking on debt. And when you can't pay it back, they're going to come knocking on your door to take it back, whether it's land or your house. The land kept going up, which enticed more people to borrow. Sounds just like today, doesn't it? Oh, prices are going up. I gotta get in. The frenzy. I'm gonna get priced out. Money's cheap loan. I can get in, 30-year for 3% to buy this overvalued house. The land kept going up, which enticed more people to borrow and buy more land, which buyers never thought would go down. What happens when home prices begin to go down in America? These people who believe it can't happen, it always happens. It's a cycle. We have watched this feeding frenzy in housing, this massive bubble, which didn't happen normally or naturally or by a free market. It happened by a very manipulated market, a controlled market, 0% interest rates, tons of money printing, stimulus money pumped all over the economy, triple P loans, people on TV telling you to keep buying, buy. This is the best time to buy a house. All of this has just snowballed, and we're going to watch an avalanche in the stock market. We're going to watch an avalanche in the housing market. People that are much more in tune with what's happening are telling you and I, get ready. Maybe it's time to lower the risk. Maybe it's time to pull some profits off the table. Maybe it's time to sell the house, not buy the house. Things are going to happen in 2022, and it's not going to just be 2022. Look, ladies and gentlemen, when this thing comes down, it's not going to just be a couple bad days. This is going to be years. It's going to be years. And when this thing really starts to get out of control and accelerate, it's not going to just be a couple days, a week. It could go down for months. It could be years before we even hit the bottom. Nobody really knows how long this could go. And then when we flatline and hit the bottom, how long are we going to be down there? What is going to pull this country out of a depression? We're not making anything. We're not manufacturing. People have been incentivized to stay at home. So you tell me, comment down below, what is going to pull America out of the greatest depression it is ever going to see? What is going to pull us out? What's the light at the end of the tunnel? What are we going to make? What are we going to produce? How do we get out of it? I think we're going to be in it for a very, very long time. And it really breaks my heart to say that. And look, it gives me no pleasure to sit here and talk about these things. Honestly, I'd much rather be making videos, driving fast cars. I'd have more fun, making a cat video with Kona or a dog video or, something fun. I love these videos where people go out and eat at these restaurants, eat this incredible food and tell you how good it is. That would be fun. Would not that be positive and be so exciting? And we'd all have a nice day watching that, I'm sure. But I would not be doing the right thing here. I would not be doing my fiduciary duty by talking about those things and not warning you about what's coming. This to me is more important than any restaurant. It's more important than the cat or the dog. This is the most important thing. It's more important than any football, baseball, or basketball game. This is the future of our country, the future of your kids. Your future, your retirement, your opportunity, your wealth. And if we're not in this and dealing with this every day and watching it and preparing, we're going to be just like the other millions of people, the masses who are going to get wiped out. And I don't know about you, I'm going to do everything I can to prevent that from happening, to being a victim of this economy and allowing the situation to just wipe me out. I think that we need to take advantage of the situation. Don't let the situation take advantage of us. And we need to be critically thinking for ourselves. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our families. And if we're not thinking right now, and let me tell you, this is a thinking man's and a thinking woman's game right now. Nobody has all the answers, but I'm going to tell you, if you're not doing anything, if you're hoping that this is just going to go away, if you're hoping that a politician's going to fix it, if you're hoping that the Fed is going to fix it, you're hoping the same people who created this mess are going to fix this mess. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. You are going to be responsible for you. And when this whole thing implodes, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and you can blame whoever you want. You can finger point to whoever you want. And yeah, there's a lot of people we can blame for what's happening right now, what's going to happen. But what good is that going to do you? If your kids aren't eating, if you have no money, if they're going to foreclose on your house, they're repoing your car, you have no more credit cards, you're maxed out, and you have no real money, what are you going to do? Finger pointing is great, but it's not going to feed you, it's not going to save you, and it's not going to allow you to prosper at one of the worst possible times. When there's blood in the streets, that's when people prosper, unfortunately. And if you have real money, if you don't have massive amounts of debt, if you have a game plan, a mental mindset, and real assets, those are the people who are going to prosper when there's blood in the streets. Those are the people who prosper in the depressions, the people that prosper during economic collapses, currency collapses. Look, that's just a fact throughout history. That's when there is massive opportunity. And I know there's people out there that think this is the opportunity right now. Overvalued homes, overvalued markets, overvalued bonds, overvalued derivatives. This is not opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. The opportunity is coming. And a very few amount of people are going to be able to capitalize on that, because most people are still out buying big screen TVs, $400 Nikes, going to fancy restaurants that they can't afford, running up their credit cards to buy holiday gifts. People haven't learned the lesson, living way beyond their means, buying homes that they can't afford, leasing cars they can't afford to drive, posting it all over social media. These are the people who will lose it all. And look, I'm sorry, I'm not going to feel sorry for them. I've had to make huge sacrifices and cut out a lot of things in my life, just like a lot of you've had to do, to buy the gold, to buy the silver, to put the cash reserves away. I'm living way below my means, and I'm doing that on purpose. The party is not now. This is not the party, ladies and gentlemen, and people are living today like it's a party, and they have no idea the economic tsunami that is right around the corner, and it's going to wipe them out. And I don't wish anybody any ill will. Again, I don't get any pleasure or enjoyment talking about this, but this is going to be biblical. This will be historic. We will never forget this. We will take this to our graves with what we're about to witness here with this economy and the fallout. Remember, there's going to be massive fallout socially with this economy. When people go hungry, when they lose it all, it's going to be a real mess. So again, food, water, security, pharmaceuticals, vitamins, batteries, candles, matches, propane, firewood, you name it. These are the things we need to be thinking about. Do you have extra clothes to stay warm, extra shoes, good pair of boots? These are things we need to be thinking about, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to wrap it up there. We'll see what transpires tomorrow, but we're getting really close to 2022. Look, it's going to be an exciting time. It's going to be a very exciting time, but it's also going to be a very volatile, dangerous time. And I no doubt, really truly believe that 2022 is going to be epic. It is going to be incredible, and not for the good. Not for the good. God bless. Stay safe out there. Share this video. Give it a thumbs up. Talk to all of you very soon.